All right, this is the second part of the Math Models Unit 2, Lesson 3 video. I'm going to go over all the questions, examples of the questions about lateral area, surface area, and volume. First one that comes up is a cylinder. So let's hop over to our notes. Let me scroll all the way up here. Sorry about that. So I went ahead and copied the formulas down for you. And again, I'll post a document with all the formulas listed for you guys later. So the formula for the lateral area of a cylinder is 2 times pi times r times h. R and h are always going to be given. R is the radius. H is the height of the actual prism. So in this case, we do 2 pi times 4 times 12. I'm going to snag this guy and move him down. So 2 times 4 times 12. 4 times 12 is 48 times 2, 96 pi.
Have you ever been to this one? Okay. Do you have a quick second?
Yeah, 1 second.
If not, it's okay.
All right, so let's look at the actual answer here. 96 times pi. So we're going to do 96 pi, which is 301.59. So that's our answer on that one. Centimeters squared. All right. The lateral area is that formula plus another portion. So actually, I don't need to do that twice. I can put that 301.59 here. And I can add 2 pi and then r squared. R is 4. So I put 4 squared. So that's going to be plus oops, sorry about that. It's going to be plus, 4 squared is 16. 2 times pi times 16. Again, I'm just bringing all this down. 301.59 plus 32 pi. So that's going to be 32 pi. Let's go here. I'll just go ahead and add that right here. Plus 32 pi. And we get 402.12 there. That's the final answer. 402.12. So again, just make sure you're plugging everything in where it goes, and you're just using your calculator to work that out. The volume formula is going to be 2 pi r squared h. So again, that's this times h. So we actually already know that whole thing. We already know 32 pi is, and that's coming from right here. That's already this portion of the problem. And then we're going to multiply that times the 12 of the h. 32 pi times 12. So we'll hop over to our calculator. Let's go ahead and clear this out. Oops. Clear. 32 pi times 12. We get 1,206.37. 1,206.37 centimeters cubed. That's the volume of that cylinder. All right, so again, I'll be posting all these formulas for you. I just want you to see examples of each one. Next, a rectangular prism with a side length of 8. This is actually a cube. This says rectangular prism, but it's a cube. It's a cube with the S of 8. So it's a little bit different than how they explain it in the unit. So let me show you an example here. So this would be the kind of cube that we have. I'm just going to kind of work this one out for you. So this would be like this. This is our formula, and I've simplified the lateral area formula to just be 4s squared. So 4s, which is 8 squared. 4 times 64, which is 255. inches squared. And again, I'll put these formulas. I just want you to see it worked out. So 4s squared is the lateral area. The surface area is that number, 256, plus 2s squared. Or it could just be 6s squared. So 6 times 8 squared, 6 times 64. And so 6 times 64, let's hop over here to our calculator and let's clear this out, and we'll do 6 times 64, and it's 384. 384 inches squared. And then the volume is just s to the third power, or 8 to the third power. 8 times 8 times 8, or 8 to the third power. So let's go over here, clear this out. Let's do 8 to the third power, 512. Sorry about that. Go back. We'll type 512 inches to the third power is the volume of the cube. All right, let's keep moving just so I can do an example of each one. I don't want these videos to be too long for you guys. We have a prism with a hexagon base. That hexagon base has sides that are 4 and has an apothem that's 2.83. And then it has a height that measures 15. So I'm going to show you an example that's like this one, but that is not the same numbers. But you need to know you have an A of 2.83, an S of 4, and an H of 15 in this one. And you will use those values when you go plugging in to what I'm doing. So again, over here, here's an example. This is a hexagon as well. It has an A of 6, an S of 8, an N of 6, and an H of 10. So we're going to do perimeter times H. You need to remember that the perimeter is N times S. So really we're doing N times S times H. So N is 6, S is 8, H is 15. So 6 times 8 times 15. Let's hop over to our calculator and let's clear this out. And get that back over there. There we go, clear. And it's going to be 6 times 8 times 15, 720. 720, and that's the lateral surface area. These are in inches squared. Surface area is that same part, so that part is 720 plus 2 times the area of the base. So 2 times, and then we need to find the area of the base. Well, the area formula for the base is 1/2 A times P. So if you think about it, 1/2 A times P, I actually could just do A times P because the 2 is going to cancel out from this and this, leaving me with AP. So I'm going to rewrite this formula right here and say that for a prism that has a base that's a polygon, a regular polygon, you could just do A times P. So we already know pH is 720. We also know the P we already found was 6 times 8, and the A is 6 as well. So we're going to do 6 for the A. The P is N times S. So we're going to do 8 times 6 again. So I'm actually going to go ahead and break down this formula even further and say that instead of AP, you can do pH. I'm just going to erase all this and say, you know what you can do? You can do N times S times H plus A times N times S We already did all this. That gave us 720. 6 times 8 times 6. Let's go ahead and just backspace there and do a 6. 6 times 8 times 6 is 288. So it's going to be 720 plus 288. So that's going to be 1,008 inches squared. That's the total surface area. And then the base times height is going to be the volume. So in other words, 1/2 A times P times H. Remember, we know that P is N times S. So it's going to be 1 times A times N times S times H, which is all the values that we have. So we're going to do 10, and I messed up earlier. I'm going to go ahead and just change this so it's correct, 15. We're going to do 6 times 6 times 8 times 15. So we're going to plug in for all those numbers. 1/2 times 6 times 6 times 8 times 10, or 15 rather. We can just work that all out. 1/2, 6, 6, 8, and 15. So we have 1/2 times 6 times 6 times 8 times 15. 2,160 inches to the third. That's the answer for volume. I'll be posting all these formulas for you. Okay, next one. You have a lateral surface area and volume of a baseball. So this is a sphere. Okay, so the formulas for sphere are the following. For the surface area, first of all, there is no lateral surface area of a sphere. So you can put there is none. For the surface area, you do 4 times pi times r squared. R is the only value you need. So we do 6 squared. Let me grab this guy and move him down. Oops. 4 times pi times 6 squared. Let's go ahead and grab our calculator. Let's clear this out. 4 times pi times 6 squared. 452.39. 452.39 centimeters squared is the surface area. Again, no lateral area, just surface area. Volume formula, 4/3 pi r to the third. 4/3 pi times 6 to the third in this case. Type that on our calculator. Let's clear this out. So we'll have 4/3 times pi times 6 to the third power. We get 904.78. 904.78 centimeters cubed. That's the volume. And we're done. The last problem is another cylinder example. So you'll use the same that you did above, and then you have formulas here for matching up the formula with the different descriptions. So use the formula chart that I sent you to answer those questions. And that is it for lesson 3. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this was a long one. I will focus on the review with just the ones on the test, so you won't be having to be responsible for every single one of these types of questions.